Hello everybody and welcome back to Broken Brian, and today I'm going to do a quick review of the first two premiere episodes for Creature Commandos. And I'll start off real quick that I'm probably not going to take the same position that a lot of my contemporaries might do, but that's okay. Secondly, this is absolutely not for young'uns. There's a lot of adult humor and there's a lot of adult situations, and that's in 2 episodes. One of the major pluses to this is its soundtrack. And in this series, we have the new Creature Commandos that are deployed to a fictional Eastern European nation to kind of stop something that's going on. And I'm going to do my best not to spoil anything. But there might be. Because of this, I don't know if it was James Gunn or someone else, they brilliantly went with Gypsy Punk for the soundtrack, specifically Gogol Bordello. And if you have not heard of Gogol Bordello or Gypsy Punk, please do look into it, because it is probably some of the most interesting and just always cheers me up type of music. It really is. For a long time, when my daughter was young and getting really fussy in the car, Gogol Bordello would calm her down. It's punk, it's poppy, it's Eastern European, gypsy influence, it's something else. And I love the fact that it is all throughout this. I think there was one song that wasn't Gogol Bordello, but it was another gypsy punk band that I'm not familiar with. And I was like, this is great. They even animated Gogol Bordello into the second episode, and I was just a huge fan because I love their music and it's so good. But so to me, I was like, I'm already in. When I heard the first song, I was like, okay, if they're going to play, if they did a good choice on the soundtrack, maybe I'll. But the first 2 episodes are actually good. And a lot of people can be like, oh, it's all this. And it's, if you are a fan of Archer, this is right up your alley. This does have the DC animation take where it's trying to keep itself kind of separate but distinct. And it's hard to articulate exactly the vibe, but it's different than the live action movies. The mentality and production behind it is always different. And I like it. I do. I like the first 2 episodes, and I've already seen a lot of people commenting today online like, oh, it's terrible, it's horrible. I don't take that opinion. I think it's actually good. Definitely not for younger audiences. So basically, the plot line is, like I said before, they're deployed to this Eastern European country, and this takes place about 2 years after the last Suicide Squad movie, The Suicide Squad. 2 years after that. So Colonel Flagg's father is now leading the group. You've got the bride, and you've got Flag, you've got Dr. Phosphorus, G.I. Robot, Nina, and gosh, I feel like I'm missing somebody. I don't know. But so far, there hasn't been a lot of fighting. There's been fighting within the group, and there's actually a well-done fight scene. And the whole story is nothing too outrageous. We've got a mystical witch just trying to take over the country, and the country has a monarchy. And so we've got the princess trying to maintain control of her country while her mother is really unable to do so. And the Suicide Squad, or what do they call them? Task Force M for Monster, because they said no more humans can be used in this type of way. So And then in the second episode, we've got the bride. We are introduced to Frankenstein's monster, who has spent his entire life trying to find his bride because the bride was made for him, and she was like, no. She rejected him, but he's still just love struck, and it shows a little montage through the centuries of him chasing her, trying to catch her and get her. And it's kind of funny, it's kind of humorous, it's very interesting. The the whole GI robot of wanting to kill fascist German soldiers is quite humorous. And Dr. Phosphorus is voiced by Alan Tudyk, and he's just a great voice actor, and he's very funny in this. And it's not a stellar series. It's not going to be one you're like, oh, I can't wait to watch this over again. But I do think if you like DC animation and you like adult humor and just kind of weird interpersonal squabbles, like seriously, like every time I kept looking at it, I was like, man, this just feels like Archer with monsters. And it's really funny. And I think a lot of people will enjoy it, but I do think a lot of people see this and go, oh, it's terrible. I think most people that really enjoy DC animation and enjoy the just out there concept of how Suicide Squad always pushes the envelope in every medium it is. If you enjoy that type of thing, I do think you'll enjoy Creature Commandos. If you were looking for perfection and just outright storytelling and everything, you're gonna feel a little let down, to be honest. But I think overall, so far so good. And if they keep the Gogo Bordello soundtrack, I'm just going to be in all the way through. Because, I mean, I'm singing along with the songs as they're playing. I'm like, yeah, I love it. I can't, They did a good job. It fits the setting it's in. The Gypsy Punk just fits the setting of just that Eastern European setting and the speed and quickness of the punk. Just it fits perfectly. It's almost like It's almost like Gypsy Punk was made for a series like this. It is good. It fits so well. And I think a lot of people will enjoy it. I don't think everyone's going to enjoy it. I don't. And, this is one of those series that I think it's going to be based on taste. I don't think it's going to be universally loved or universally hated. I like it, but I see why other people are not going to like it. But I do think if you are, that you should give it a shot. If this is your cup of tea. If you like DC animation, you like the Suicide Squad, you like adult humor, this is right up your alley. It really is. I mean, I was hoping for more than 2 episodes. I was ready. After the second episode, I was like, oh, darn. That's right. It's releasing every week. Darn, I thought it was going to be a binge. I thought I was just going to sit down this afternoon and just binge the entire series. I really did. But I was kind of sad when the second episode ends because it's really funny. It really is. It is definitely an adult series. And I think it's good. I do. And I know a lot of people were like, oh, it's terrible. James Gunn did terrible on this. And it's this and it's that. You may have some arguments. I'll give you that. There are some arguments that, it's not, it's rated MA. So it's definitely not going to be universal for everybody. But I do think it has its audience. And I'm part of that audience. I love it. I shouldn't say I love it. I like it. I love the soundtrack. I like the series. It's very, very different. It's with the characters, you get a whole different range of dynamics. Weasel, that's who else is in there. Gosh, I could not remember. Weasel. Yeah, Weasel's in here. And they're like, what is he? We don't know. He survived. That's how you know the timeline is because Amanda Waller mentions that he survived the starfish attack in 2 years ago, so that's how we know the timeline in the series and where it fits. So, and honestly, I thought this was, based on the trailer, this was going to be something, this was like a prequel. And, you know, this happened way before the Suicide Squad actually did it, but this is actually after the Suicide Squad. So, I like it. And some people are going to be upset about it. And I get it. It feels the same, but it's different enough that if you're looking for that sameness, you're just going to feel let down. But if you go in thinking, hey, this is a new thing, this is kind of a different take on the same formula with monsters and augmented people like Dr. Phosphorus and Nina Weasel, you know, the bride's literally a Frankenstein monster. It's very interesting. I like how they approached it. Definitely the first 2 episodes, and I think this is just a good series so far. But I'll make another video at the end and see how I feel afterwards. It may go off great, and it may just fall off. I know more characters are coming into play, just because I looked it up. Because I was like, I think that's Alan Tudyk, and I was like, yep, that's him. But it also credited him for Clayface. So Clayface is going to make an appearance at some point. And I was like, okay. But that's not really a spoiler so much as even I don't know how that fits into the storyline. So I do think this can be a good series for some. It's not going to be a good series for all. So give it a shot. Let me know what you think down below. And let's talk about Creature Commandos until the series ends and see where we are. Alright? So until next time, my friends, as always, I love you all, and there's nothing you can do about it.